So, the Constitution is already being ignored in many respects, so passing another law is not necessarily going to be, we're not going to be able to pass a law so that you and I can forget about Congress. Okay? Congress needs to be watched.
Agreed.
Okay? And unfortunately, that's what we've got right now. We need to be, and it's not just watching now. You've got to be watching in November for if there's a lame duck session, watching in January for the new session, and because we at this point we know that there's convention which are contravening the plain meaning of the Constitution. As I said, the Emoluments Clause, which means that the appointment of Hillary Clinton to Secretary of State and Ken Salazar as Secretary of Interior are both unconstitutional. The Senate didn't care. So saying, okay, what if folks are ignoring that plain meaning, then we need to be bird dogging it. We need the letters to the editor saying, hey, Hillary Clinton is an unconstitutional appointment. Most people just let it slide, but we need to make stinks about that. The Kelo decision was a bad decision. You make a stink about that, and part of that stink we're going to be making November 2nd.
One more question for me then. Are there departments and agencies at the federal level that you see as unconstitutional and that you would target immediately for defunding or elimination?
I haven't considered them. I think that we can start with, we've already mentioned the Department of Education. But given that we're going to be cutting pretty much every agency, 40%, other agencies, whether they are explicitly unconstitutional or whether it's simply, it's not, there's no enumerated power backing it. And then we say, okay, why are we still doing it? Is there any emergency that justifies it? And I think that there certainly would be others. One I would be looking at seriously, I guess, would be the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Okay, what does the federal government have to do with redeveloping Madison? Yeah, it's nice to have federal money, but that's not a federal responsibility. So, but beyond that, I'd say looking more in terms of cutting everything and then seeing how how it shakes out from there. Because we might end up simply dispensing with agencies because we say, all right, other agencies are more important.
Okay, thank you.
Aaron again.
Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
I am pro-gun. It's an individual right.
For any type of gun, or like Chicago's trying to make restrictions on specifics, or?
I think that you should be able to pretty much purchase any kind of gun, any kind of ammo.
And what about federal, like, are you for federal licensing laws? Are you against federal licensing laws? Where do you stand on licensing, and how somebody would be able to, how the federal government would be able to track your ownership of a gun?
I don't see that the federal government, given it's an individual right, I'm perfectly happy with the states determining what they want to do, and if the states want the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to, I think that's the current title. I'm not sure why tobacco needs to be put in with firearms and explosives, but so in terms of the the federal licensing there, I don't see that there's a particular need for it.
So I assume you'd lean that way towards measures like microstamping?
No, I don't see a need for microstamping either, in terms of.
The firing pin in the gun puts a unique signature on the casing every time each one that's fired, so they can track a specific casing of a specific gun.
I thought they already had that bullets. Had a specific.
The bullet itself that comes out of the gun will have grooves on it from the barrel, but this is on the actual casing. Will have another unique signature on it too.
No,
Date, timestamp, your signature. Barcode.
Barcode.
Won't have their names on their stuff anyway, or register their guns, so.
Yeah, so where I stand there is pretty much allowing a law-abiding citizen to protect himself. I think that's where we start from that, saying, okay, does a law-abiding citizen, would an average law-abiding citizen wish to use this for protection? Yes, okay. And then getting that, people can push that envelope, and I think I'm fairly flexible in terms of that envelope. I would probably draw the line on Kirsten having a tactical nuke.
What a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I could do some real good with
RPG.
that.
I'm with you.
Anybody else?
Said that you're pro-life.
Yes.
Some people are like 98% pro-life, and
Okay, for me, the only exception I make is life of the mother. Okay. Because it's my feeling is there, you have the right to self-defense.
I would encourage you to read Pro-Life Wisconsin's stance.
Oh,
on
I've
the
got
life
lots
the
of
mother.
pro-life Wisconsin stand, yeah. And essentially they and I disagree in terms of their work in terms, or their lawyering, if you will, in terms of the life of the mother exception. And I just disagree with that. I am opposed to partial birth abortion. I don't think that is medically necessary, but earlier term, the life of the mother, it still seems to me that is potentially still medically necessary.
Last call. All right, well, thank you very much, Peter. This has been very informative.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.